Hello and welcome to our 11th video on angles. I'm Mr. Chowdhury and today we're going to be looking at exterior angles of polygons. Now if you haven't already, I suggest you go and watch our interior angles of polygons lesson before you come and watch this one. But before we begin, we need to try and just clarify some key words so that you know what the definitions are before we move forward. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the definition of interior angle. What is an interior angle? The interior angle is the angle inside a shape. So here I have a hexagon, and the interior angle would be any of the angles inside. So I've just given you one angle there so you can see it. Any angle inside of a shape is called an interior angle. And of course, when we looked at the sum of interior angles, we were looking at what all of the angles inside a shape need to add up to. So for example, in a triangle, they must add up to 180. In a quadrilateral, they must add up to 360, and so on and so forth as you go through different shapes. The other word you need to understand is an exterior angle. So I'd like you to pause the video. What do you think an exterior angle is? Okay, you've had some time to think about that now. So an exterior angle is the angle between any side of a shape and a line extended from the next. So we're going to look at the shape. We're going to extend a line from one of the sides. So we've extended a line there. And the angle we're looking for is this angle there that we're trying to measure. That's the angle that we are measuring. As you can see, the interior and exterior angle are on a straight line. So they must sum to 180 degrees. Okay, so just as a reminder, interior and exterior angles sum to 180 degrees. Right, so now let's have a look at our shape, and let's have a look at what happens when we go around our shape. So that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the exterior angles. So we looked at the sum of interior angles, but now we're going to look at the sum of exterior angles. So let's start at this corner. There we are, and we're going to move around the shape, and you're going to tell me what happens. So if I go from here, I'm going to go all the way to the end. Then I need to do a turn. So I need to do some turn here. That's an exterior angle. I'm going to do a turn. Then I'm going to go down that side. I'm going to do a turn. I'm going to go down that side. And I do a turn. I'm going to go down this side. And I do a turn. I go up this side. And I do a turn. And then I end up right back where I started. And those turns that I've done are the exterior angle. So they're the turns that I made. So when I started at this corner and I went down this side, I made this much of a turn. Went down this side and made this much of a turn. Went down this side, made that much of a turn. So these are all of the turns I did as I went round that shape. I'm just going to give these angles some names. So I've just called them A, B, C, D, E, F, just so that we can talk about them a bit easier. And if I started here, if I think about how much I turned as I went round the entire shape, I did a full turn. So that means A, B, C, D, E, and F must sum to a full turn. And we know from our first video on angles that a full turn is 360 degrees. So I know that A, B, C, D, E, and F is 360 degrees. Which must mean, because A, B, C, D, E, and F are exterior angles to this shape, that the sum, when we add them together, of exterior angles must be 360 for all shapes. That's true for every single shape. The sum of exterior angles is 360 degrees. Okay, so here are some examples of some exterior angles and interior angles summing to 180. We can see that what we're doing is we're extending one of the sides and measuring the angle between that extension line and another side. So here's a irregular shape. So this is a irregular quadrilateral, a rectangle, which is an irregular quadrilateral. We can see that the interior and exterior angles sum to 180. Here we've got a regular triangle, a equilateral triangle, where we can see that the interior and exterior angles sum to 180. Now, we may be asked to do something like this, where we're given the interior angle and we have to find out how many sides a shape has. And this is where exterior angles come in extremely helpful. We could just do trial and error, keep going, keep increasing the number of sides, like when we worked at the interior angles. There was a pattern. We could keep going until we hit 150, but that's not what we want to do. We're fantastic mathematicians. We can work out things by looking at information that we know. So we know how exterior angles work. So we're going to use the information we know about exterior angles to try and work out how many sides this shape has. So the first thing we need to do is work out what the size of the exterior angle is. the size of the exterior angle, we need to first draw our extension line and then measure the angle that we create. So this one here in red is the one we're going to measure. We already know the interior angle is 150 degrees. That means because it's on a straight line and we know interior angles and exterior angles sum to 180, we can work out the exterior angle as 30 degrees. And we all know that if we take all of the exterior angles of a shape and add them together, we get 360 degrees. So the sum of exterior angles is always 360 degrees, regardless of the shape. So if one angle is 30 degrees, how many 30-degree turns do I need to do to get around the shape? Because remember, we turned every time we got to a corner of a shape. So in our previous slide where we looked at where the exterior angles were, we got to a corner and then we turned. We got to a corner and then we turned. If we know how many corners there are on a shape, we'll know how many sides there are on a shape. So how many of these 30-degree angles are there on my shape? So let's have a look. So we do 360, which is the sum of exterior angles, and we divide it by 30, which is what each exterior angle is, and that tells us how many times we're going to be doing that 30-degree turn as we go around this shape, and we get 12. So this means this shape that we have here is a 12-sided shape. Okay, so that's how we would work out the number of sides a shape has by knowing the exterior angle, by working out the exterior angle. So here's another one to have a go at. Pause the video. How many sides does this shape have? Pause the video. How many sides does this shape have? Okay, let's have a look. So the first thing we need to do is work out the size of the exterior angle. So we draw the exterior angle in. Then we use our angle rules that we already know, because angles in a straight line sum to 180. Interior and exterior angles, because they're on a straight line, will also sum to 180. So I've got a 24-degree angle there. I know that the sum of exterior angles is 360 degrees. I also know that I have to do how many of these 24-degree angles do I need to do to get around my shape. So I do 360 divided by 24, which will give me 15. That means this shape has 15 sides. Now hopefully that's been helpful and you kind of understand what exterior angles are and how we can use them with regards to 2D shape. What I suggest you do now is go and watch Mr. Amoson's videos to do some practice. If you're super confident, you can go on Dr. Frost and Corbett Maths to do some more practice on your own. Go off, be productive, and I'll see you in the next video.